İyi akşamlar. Bugün Türk Kültürü ve Tarihi Araştırma Kulübü olarak dil ve kültür etkinliğinde Kazan Tatarcasıyla açılışımızı yapacağız. Bugün yanımızda Bulat Bey var.
Merhaba arkadaşlar. İyi akşamlar. Evet, ben Bulat Şəymi'yi. Ben Kazan Tatarım. Tataristanlıyım. Ben Tatar vloggeri ve ben dil bilimciyim. Almanya'da okudum. Dil bilimi okudum. Yüksek lisan yaptım. İngiliz dil bilimi. Ve evet, Tatar dili benim ana dilim. Tatar dili benim ana dilim. Siz beni anlıyorsunuz. Elbette. Çünkü o da Türk dil. Hem bugün biz Tatarlar hakkında söyleşecekiz. Bugün Tatarlar hakkında konuşacağız. Tatarlar kimler? Biz nerede yaşıyoruz? Bizim medeniyetimiz, dilimiz nasıl? Bunlar hakkında söyleyeceğim. So I'll probably switch to English from now on, if that's okay, guys, for you. Hopefully all of you understand. If you don't understand something, please let me know. Send your questions in the chat. Firstly, we will talk about a brief history of Tatars. There's a video I prepared for you. Then we'll talk about Tatarstan today. Then some famous Tatars, Tatar cuisine, of course, traditional Tatar culture, Tatar dance, Tatar language, and modern music in Tatar. Now let's get to history first. There's this really brief video that explains where we come from, how we originated, and there are two of them actually. One is shorter, so I guess we'll watch one of them, and the other one you can watch yourselves later on YouTube. The thing is, this longer one on the right, I don't like that one for the reason that the narrator makes some mistakes in the pronunciation of some words. So I'd like to show you this one first. Demek bizim tarihimiz birazcık izleyelim. Biraz para kritik.
The origin of ancestors of Tatars and other Turkic people is related to the Altai area. Zungnu, a nomadic people, ancient ancestors of Tatars, populate steppes north of China. Zungnu create a tribal association, the Zungnu Empire, which included Turkic tribes. Its founder and first ruler, Shan Yui, was Modu. The Great Wall of China was constructed for protection from the strengthened Zungnu Empire and other nomadic tribes. Defeated by China, the Zungnu Empire collapses to the north and south parts. People of the northern part migrated to the lands between Volga and the Urals, gave start to a new people, Huns. Driven by political factors and the climate changes, Huns moved to west. They reached the borders of the Roman Empire and gave start to the great wandering of peoples. Huns have created a strong state, the Hun Empire, centered in Pannonia, modern Hungary, the height of which came to the time of Attila's rule. After Attila's death, the Hun state collapses. Defeated by the Germans and other tribes that were once under their rule, Huns spread out and mixed with other nomadic people. Descendants of Zungnu that stayed in Asia created the Turkic Khaganate, ruled by the Ashina clan. At that time, Tatar tribes are first mentioned as one of the founders of the Turkic Khaganate, 30 Tatar, 9 Tatar. The Turkic Khaganate collapses into Western Turkic and Eastern Turkic Khaganates. Old Great Bulgaria is created near the Black Sea by the Bulgar tribes, descendants of the Western Turkic Khaganate. Its peak was achieved at the time of Han Kubrat. The Eastern Turkic Khaganate was conquered by the Tang Empire and disappeared. After the death of Han Kubrat, the Great Bulgaria collapsed. Kubrat's sons bring their tribes to the Balkans and the Middle Volga. The ones that stayed were captured by the strengthened Khazars. The Dunabe Bulgaria and the Volga-Kama Bulgaria appeared as the result of Bulgar migration. Under the pressure of the Tang Empire, Turkish tribes and due to civil strife, the Western Turkic Khaganate collapsed. The Tatar clans, such as Kimaks and the Kipchaks, have founded the Kimak Khaganate on the territory of modern Kazakhstan and South Siberia. The Kimak Khaganate weakens under the pressure of Mongol tribes and due to civil strife. The Kipchaks moved to west. Tatar tribes, known as the White Tatar, Black Tatar, and Wild Tatar, originated from the Chateau, or Western Turkic tribes, found their own early Tatar states. Timuçin, acknowledged as Genghis Khan, the Great Khan, consolidated the Tatar and other nomadic tribes and formed the Mongol Empire, that took its name from the tribe of ruling dynasty. The elder son of Genghis Khan, Juchi, was entrusted with all the western lands, including the ones that were only to be conquered. Batu Khan's troops conquered the Volga-Kama Bulgaria. The city of Bulgar becomes the first capital of Ulus Juchi. During the Mangu Timur Khan's reign, Ulus Juchi, known in Russian sources as the Golden Horde, becomes independent from the Mongol Empire. The Golden Horde broke into several smaller states, such as the Kazan, Astrakhan, Crimean, Siberian Khanates, the Great and Nogai Hordes. These states were a cradle for the forming of modern ethnographic groups of Tatars: Kazan Tatars, Astrakhan Tatars, Crimean Tatars, Siberian Tatars, Kasimov Tatars.
Okay, so this video doesn't cover everything, of course, just until the Khanates emerged. But after that, there was the conquest of Kazan by Russians. They conquered Kazan in 1552. 1552'de Kazan'ı Yavuz İvan yaulab algan. We say in Tatar, it's the day that we still remember. And this is when Tatars lost their statehood. And we've been living under Russian rule since then. Evet, bunun için biz iki dilde konuşuyoruz. Tatarca ve Rusça. Genelde this video you can watch later on YouTube. Brief History of Tatars. It covers all of the periods in history. But let's talk about today now.
If you want, we can share the video link after the presentation.
Evet, yapabiliriz.
WhatsApp group.
Sonra paylaşacağız, evet. So, some statistics here. Tatars today. We are Turkic people, of course. Population 6.8 million, well, around 7 million people around the world. Yeah. In Russia, 5.5 million. And there are Tatars living in other countries like Uzbekistan, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Turkey, in Finland, which is interesting. There is a big diaspora, well, not so big, as you can see, 600, 700 people living today. But it's an interesting case, a diaspora of Tatars in Finland, and also other countries, including Lithuania. And yeah, we basically live all around the world, also the US, Australia, and a few other countries in Europe. But obviously, most of us live in Tatarstan, Russia. By the way, so this diaspora in Finland, there was the influence of Turkey on the names of their establishments, personal names and language. Associations used name Turkish, Türk, instead of Tatar back in the day. Referring to their language, they called it Türk dili, apparently. In their personal names, the most noticeable change was the letter A, which we have and Turkish doesn't actually, which was replaced with a Turkish E. For example, Ahsan, the Tatar Ahsan changed to Ahsen, like the Turkish way. So in the footsteps of Atatürk's reforms, the Finnish Tatars replaced the previously used Arabic script for a Latin script. As you might know, Tatar used to use Arabic to write, so until 1930s. So the Republic of Tatarstan, the territory is 68,000 square kilometers. Population 3.8 million in Tatarstan. Tatars 53%, Russians 40%, Chuvash 3%, and other nationalities, ethnicities as well. The official languages, as I mentioned, Tatar and Russian. So I grew up speaking Tatar and Russian. Yeah, until the age of like 6, I only spoke Tatar, and then when I started school, I also learned Russian. So you can see on the map where it's located. Russia is really big, as you might know, because, yeah, they occupied us. Here are the flag, coat of arms, and our president. He used to be called president, but not anymore because the Russian government decided to change that too. He's called Reis now, Tatarstan Reisi. He used to be called president, unfortunately. Yeah, his name is Rustem Nurgayullah Minakhanov. The first president was Şəymiyev. He has the same surname as me. So my surname is also Şəymiyev. And the first president was also Şəymiyev. No affiliation there, yeah. I'm not his grandson or anything. Yeah, so the Tatar way is Şəymi, so it's a shortened version, you know. So the biggest cities are Kazan and Çallı. In Antalya, there is a place called Çallı, I think. So that's interesting. Kazan, Tataristan'ın başkenti Kazan, the capital city. It's the largest city of Tatarstan. It's located at the confluence of the Volga and Kazansu. Kazanka is the Russian name. Tatar name is Kazansu. Okay. Population 1.2 in Kazan, in the city itself. Over 1,000 years old. And it's called the third capital of Russia and also the sports capital of Russia. And Çallı or Şalla, in Russian it's Nabережные Челны, is the second largest city in Tatarstan, a major industrial center located at the Kama River, 225 kilometers east of Kazan. Nizhnekamsk Reservoir with a population of around 500,000 residents. I don't know if you've heard about the city, but first of all, let's see what main sites there are in Kazan. Have you guys seen the Kazan Kremlin before? Have you heard about Kazan? No, nothing? Okay. So the Kazan Kremlin, Kazan Kirmeni in Tatar, is UNESCO's World Heritage Site. This is Suyunbike Manarası. It was built in the 16th century. There's even a legend about it. The legend goes that Khanbike Suyunbike threw herself off of the tower as Ivan the Terrible conquered Kazan. Apparently, well, it's not true, but the legend says that he built this tower for her so that she marries him. But the truth is that she didn't die jumping off the tower, actually. But still, yeah, the tower has her name. And Suyunbike is the symbol of resistance of Tatars. Yeah, she was the Tatar Khanbike, yeah, like princess. The next one is Kul Sharif Mescidi, Mescid, yani Kul Sharif Cami. It's also there's also the Museum of Islam. So originally, the mosque fell when Ivan the Terrible conquered Kazan. So this is not the original mosque, of course. In 1552, it was destroyed. And then this one was rebuilt in 2005, I think. This is like only, yeah, this was built recently.
2005 is considered the 1,000 years of Kazan, so it was rebuilt to the 1,000-year anniversary.
Yeah, so when Kazan turned 1,000, they built this mosque as a symbol. Yeah, Kul Sharif was among the people who defended Kazan when Ivan the Terrible conquered it. And a lot of people died. It was a genocide of Tatars back then. So that's why this date is remembered to this day. So we pray for those who fell on that day, who died. Yeah. Dua yapmak diyorlar mı Türkçe yapmak?
Dua etmek.
Dua etmek, evet. Tamam. The next one is called Kazan in Tatar, actually. So you know what Kazan is, obviously, and this is also a symbol. That's the main site, one of the main sites in Kazan. It's a wedding palace. Yeah, this was also built quite recently. Another one, Temple of All Religions. So they like to promote the idea that in Tatarstan, all religions live happily together. So Christianity and Muslim being the main religions. Well, Muslim, obviously, most Tatars are Muslim, and there are also other ethnicities that, yeah, have their own religion, or like Christians, Russians, yeah, they like to promote the idea that we all live happily together and there are no conflicts. So yeah,
Oh, there are no conflicts
there are
between
no
religions.
conflicts. Yeah, I mean, usually, yeah. Also, yeah, we should mention that there are Christian Tatars, but we're not going to get into that topic. It's going to be too long. Christian Tatarları. The next one is this blue lake, Zangarkul, which is located outside Kazan. The water is really cold. I've never swum in there, but people like to go there and it's beautiful. Zangarkul, Mavi Göl. Evet. So the second city that I mentioned was Şallı. Yeah, here are some photos from there of the buildings. So they have these white buildings. So it's an industrial city, right? And what it's famous for is for Kamaz. Kamaz, maybe you've heard about this. There's even a championship, like a race, using these Kamaz trucks. So they produce these trucks. That's what Tatarstan is kind of famous for, and Şallı is famous for. Yeah, it's an international championship, I think. I've never watched it, so I can't tell you much about it. But yeah, I wanted to mention this. So when it comes to the bilingualism that we mentioned earlier, right? Everything is supposed to be in two languages. So all the street signs, everything needs to be translated into two languages usually. For example, here you can see Hüseyin Mevlütov Urama, and underneath it, the Russian translation, Улица Hüseyin Mevlütova, and also in English, some of the signs also have English translations. Türkiye'de sizin sadece Türkçe mi yazılır genelde?
Evet, sadece Türkçe yazılır, turistik yerlerde İngilizce yazılır. Şu aralar Arapça da yazılmaya başladı ama.
Aha, tamam. Also, you can see here in the door, it says in Tatar "Sielmeske" and "Nie prislanyatsa." Don't lean, literally, but yeah. This is in the metro. Also, in the metro, you can hear the announcements in Tatar, Russian, and English. For example, Tukhay Meydanı Tuktalışı. Yeah. And then I forgot the other two languages, the translations. Anyway, you understand. So you keep hearing here and there the two languages. But it's not as perfect as it should be. Obviously people speak Russian mostly in Kazan, in big cities like Kazan. I myself should mention that for 5 years, when I studied in Kazan, I did my bachelor's degree in Kazan. I come from a village originally, but then when I did my bachelor's, I moved to Kazan for 5 years. And if you approach people in Tatar, if you start speaking in Tatar, they do understand most of the people. So that I can tell based on my own experience, that if you speak only Tatar, you can still get by. But a lot of the times people reply to you in Russian only, even if they understand you if you speak Tatar. But yeah, if you go to villages, more people speak Tatar. So most of the people speak only Tatar, usually in their everyday life. Yeah. Mixing it with some Russian words, maybe. So yeah. Some famous Tatars. Okay. We should obviously start with Abdullah Tukay, who was a poet, critic, publisher, and he is considered to be the founder of modern Tatar literature and the modern Tatar literary language. I don't know if you've heard about Tukay. He's like Abay in Kazakh literature. So yeah, he's the first person that we learn about at school in literature lessons. Musa Jalil was also a poet and resistance fighter, one of the most important writers of Soviet era, in Soviet era Tatar literature. Next, I put some people that also are associated with Turkey. So Gayaz Ishaqi, or in Turkish, Ayaz Ishaqi, was a leading figure of the Tatar national movement, author, journalist, publisher, and politician. And Sadri Maksudi was one of the leading figures in the national awakening of Tatars in Russia during early 1900s. And he was even invited to Turkey by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk during the founding years of Turkey. He is among those who laid the foundations of Turkism in Turkey. So maybe you've heard about Ishaqi and Sadri Maksudi. Have you heard anything about them, maybe?
Yes, I've heard about them. Yazı Serkan, Sadri Maksudi. About the language, especially
Uh-huh.
work for it. And I have a question. Actually, Rabia writes it on the chat. She said, my friend told me that speaking in Tatar is a trend now. Is that true or not?
Yes. We can talk about it later, or I can answer now. It's fine, yeah.
Okay, that's on you.
I can answer. I mean, yes, nowadays, Tatar isn't as discriminated as it was back in 1990s. So people aren't afraid to speak Tatar, or it is, yeah, a trend sort of to create content in Tatar, or for example, I myself, a content creator, I write music in Tatar, I make videos in Tatar, and more music is being created, like indie music or alternative music is being created by people in Kazan, including our band Taraf. And yeah, generally, I would say younger people feel like they identify as Tatars more, I think. And Oygil, I think, would agree. Yeah? Would you?
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
especially what's interesting about the music is that before 2018, there was no indie bands. And then
yeah.
2018, everyone released their first albums. Have you noticed?
Actually, yes. So around 2018, new bands started to appear, like Raura, Juna were among the first ones, and then yeah, many more appeared over the last few years. What else was there? What other questions? My friend told me that. That's the only question, right?
Yeah, that was it. And I also ask. I want to ask something like, is it possible to communicate with people in only Tatar, or just we should learn Russian as well?
In bigger cities, I wouldn't say. There might be some difficulties for you if the person doesn't speak Tatar at all, because there are a lot of Russians living in big cities like Kazan who don't speak Tatar. So I think if you only speak Tatar, you could obviously get by. There will be some Tatar person who could translate for you. They could help you out. There's always someone around, I think. But yeah, as I said, it's not as easy if you only speak Tatar.
Okay, thank you.
Fortunately. Devam ediyoruz. Tamam. Famous Tatars, continuing with Rudolf Nureyev, who's called the Lord of the Dance. He was a world famous ballet dancer. So he moved to England and France. He worked there many years. Maybe you've heard about Rudolf Nureyev. And then Sofia Gubaidulina, the composer. And then there is Irina Sheikh. Sheikh Islamova is a Tatar surname. I don't think she ever mentioned being Tatar in any of her interviews. She does?
She did actually.
Did that she's Tatar.
Yes, she said that.
Tamam, o zaman çok güzel. Yeah, so Alsu is a singer from Russia. I've seen her speak some Tatar with a Russian accent, but I don't think she really speaks it. But yeah, she acknowledges that she's Tatar, at least. Yeah. So there are some sportsmen and women. Marat Safin, tennis player, Dinara Safin also, and Rinat Fakhreddinov is a professional mixed martial arts artist. Maybe, Osman, you've seen Rinat somewhere?
Yes, I have professional.
If you're into any martial arts, yeah, watching anything like that. And yeah, these guys, world famous, I guess. Next up, Rustam Sharipov, gymnast, yeah, Olympic gold medalist. Rinat Dasayev, world's best goalkeeper. I'm not very into sports, so I can't really tell you anything. These were put by the other people that made the presentation back in the day. We made it together with them. So yeah, and these girls also won the Olympics in 2018. Alina Zavitova and Kamila Valieva. Cuisine, finally. Yemekler. Are you guys excited? I am. I don't get to eat that many Tatar dishes here in Germany since I left Tatarstan. Yemek, tokmash hambelish, first of all. Tokmash is a noodle soup. Usually the broth is with chicken or beef also. Belish is made of dough, meat, potato inside. And the best belish, I think, is with duck meat or goose meat. We also like to cook the head of goose or duck inside belish. So my favorite part was to eat the tongue of the duck head. Ördek başın çok seviyorum. Sizin, have you eaten anything like that? Do you cook that? Türkiye'de var mısın?
No.
Yok mu? Tamam. Ama klasik.
Actually, there is I'm not sure about ördek and kaz belki.
Bizde de ördek ve kaz diyoruz. But yeah, usually, I mean, you don't have to put the head. It's just, I just wanted to mention that because it's interesting. But yeah, it's potato and meat inside. A lot of the dishes we have are with potato and meat. But these ones, yeah, are like the most famous ones. Then there is mante. You also have mante, but it's different. It's not Türk mantısı gibi değil. So the mante is with meat and potato, often, in my family at least. But the classic one is just with meat and soğan, onion inside. And then there's azu with meat potato again. It's like also with some vegetables and spices. Yeah, it's quite spicy. And then there's kıstabi or kuzikmek. I think often, like, usually people call it kıstabi, but also kuzikmek is another way to call it. Kıstabi is with potato and dough. Also, there is a place called Tübetey in Kazan, and they make kısta burger. So they made a fusion of Tatar cuisine and like American fast food, I guess. So it's like fast food kıstabi there. If you come to Kazan, you should try. And there are also like sweet kıstabis with curd inside, curd and chocolate and gözleme gibi biraz, evet. Ama it's thicker. Pilav hem gübediye. So pilav, you also have pilav, guys, right? Pilav.
Yes, we have pilav.
Pilav ama bu biraz çıtırlı. It's different in that I think it's closer to the Uzbek one. So manti and pilav, I think, are the same in Uzbek cuisine, the way we cook them. So we borrowed them from Uzbek cuisine, probably. Yeah, most likely. But gübediye is Tatar specific. I think nobody else has it. So it's sweet dessert, and yeah, it has raisins inside, rice, and kurt. Huh? Eggs, of course, and kurt. Do you know kurt? In Bashkirt cuisine, it's korut. Also, Kazakhs and other Kipchaks also have it, kurt. So it's curd, cottage cheese that's
it's dried.
Dried,
But,
or
some Turkic peoples have it salted, and we have it sweet.
ours
and,
is sweet. Yeah, that's what's special about Tatar kurt.
and like fried.
Yeah, I was gonna say fried, yeah.
Caramelized sugar.
So yeah, it's fried usually, and yeah, it's sweet, not like the really salty Kazakh kurt, which is different. The next one, ushpishmak, also really famous, probably the most famous pastry that we have. Yeah, with, it's triangle shaped. Ushpishmak, you probably understand. Ush, and pishmak is angle. Koşu.
Üçgen.
Üçgen.
Tamam. Evet, onun içinde patates ve et ve soğan. وقت بلش
This is a picture of Premesh.
Wak belish. This is wak belish. This one has rice and meat inside, usually, but some people apparently cook it with potato. I recently found out on the internet, but we always cook it with rice and meat. But you should remember Ushpishmak. It's the most famous one. You should try it if you come to Kazan. Next one, shek shek. Another dessert made of dough and honey syrup. Talqash kalawa. Same ingredients, but it's like pishmaniya kind of. But
Fibers.
the fibers are wider than pishmaniya. Pishmaniya is more like
Like cotton.
ulcinlerek olup gider yani.
Yeah.
This one is more sticky, you know, and it's more dense. Talqash kalawa. The next one is kush dili. Kush dili yani. This one is like kind of like crisps, you know.
Pieces of dough, deep fried.
Deep fried also, yeah. Okay, yeah, deep fried.
And cooked with powdered sugar.
Yeah, powdered sugar. Okay, thank you for helping me. Tamam. البته sütlü şey. Tea with milk or lemon if you prefer lemon, or kuraga. Kuraga is uruk. Is there a difference between uruk and kuraga? I don't know. So yeah, we usually drink black tea with milk. Qora şey, sütlü şey. And kuraga, dried apricots. Oh yes, there's a difference. Kuraga, dried apricots and plums here. Yeah, we like to put them into the tea as well.
In Turkish, I think uruk is plum. No?
I guess. Yeah, uruk. Do you guys like to put uruk or this into your tea? No? You should try that. Traditional Tatar costume. So, some attributes here. Kolfak, tubete, shitek. So tubete is usually what men wear. Tubete. Kolfak is women's headwear, yeah. And shitek can be both men's or women's. Does it look familiar to you? Have you seen any costumes like that? Bashkirts probably have similar costumes. Yeah. You've seen already Bashkirt costumes, right?
Yeah, similar, yeah.
Evet. Tamam. And I put some pictures by Baki Urmanche. He's a painter, quite famous in Tatarstan. And here you can see also the costumes being worn by the people. These are like historical paintings, you know. Uraltau ergesinde Şen Bazarı. Şen Bazarı used to be, you know, Pazar, you know, Bazar is the same. A big marketplace in Kazan back in a few centuries ago. Yeah. And but nowadays there is a modern festival which has the same name, Şen Bazarı, and people sell Tatar like designer stuff, you know, modern accessories, trying to preserve the cultural elements, so like the ornaments and stuff. And there are also concerts on this day. So Tatar bands perform in Kazan. And so yeah, they sell milli giyimler, yani milli giyimler satılır o günde.
Traditional clothes, you
Evet,
mean?
milli kelimesi yok mu sizde? Milli giyimler demiyorlar mı?
Geleneksel kıyafet diyoruz.
Tamam. Evet.
Milli giyim de kullanılabilir, anlaşılıyor.
Tamam. Yani o gün çok iyi bir festival olur. Kazan'a gelirseniz Ağustos'ta olur. Evet. I would recommend going there. And also there's a new trend to wear Tatar traditional costumes on that day. So like it's like a flash mob. I don't know.
It's also around the 30th of August, right? Like the
30th of August, around that
it's,
time.
The
Independence Day, Sovereignty Day.
yeah, but it's also I think the day of the Republic of Turkey.
Yes, which is interesting. So on the 30th of August, you guys have the day of nasıl 30. Ağustos'ta ne var sizde?
Zafer Bayramı. Victory.
Tamam. Yani bizde suverenlik günü var. 30. Ağustos'ta. Bunun için böyle şeyler, bayramlar, festivaller var. Evet. The most renowned festival is Sabantuy. which is held in June, so early summer. And yeah, let's take a look at this big festival where we have lots of games and competitions, as you can see in the photos. So here on the left top side, there is güreş. You also have güreş. We also have güreş, which is a bit different. We don't use any oil. So yeah, and it's with a towel. We hold a towel. Here you can see Sabanto in Paris. They also held Sabanto in Paris once, or I don't know, a few times maybe. Not sure how many times they did it. And here is Orkan Tartışa. Yeah, so they pulled this. You know, this is more international, I would say, this game. And this one also probably quite international. Kopşak Savaşı. Savaş, Savaş. Kopşak is, you know, this thing, what do you call it? A sack, yeah. Kopşak.
You should see that this holiday it's really ancient. It's from
Yes.
from paganism, from pagan times, and all the, like it used to have more of the it used to have more of the traditions connected to weather. Like it used to be celebrated in spring, and like when the first ice started melting, people would gather around the river to see how the ice melts, and this would be like the celebration of the start of spring. And all these games were like a party before the sowing season, before people started like planting crops and everything. In Soviet times, the Soviet government changed the time of Sabantuy to summer after like the sowing season, because in summer there used to be another holiday that was more political, and it was more like Islamic celebration, where a lot of men used to gather and talk about like social and political stuff. And because the Soviet government didn't want that, they replaced like this more pagan holiday and put it in instead of the religious. Like it wasn't religious, but it was like more social and political. So they replaced that one with Sabantuy. That's why Sabantuy is now celebrated in summer. But it is actually like a really ancient holiday that Tatars have.
Saban kelimesi var mı Türkçe'de? Saban ya da toy var sizde, değil mi?
Saban var. Toy Türkiye Türkçesinde yani İstanbul Türkçesinde kullanılmıyor ama bazı ağızlarda kullanılıyor.
Evet, ama anlıyorsunuz değil mi? Saban toy.
Evet, evet.
Rahmet. Teşekkürler. So there are a few more photos of the competitions. At Şavırşı. At, you know what at is. At Şavırşı here on the left. Is that a boy? These are boys actually. Racing, horse racing. And then this one, you have to climb up to the top. A towel, I think you have to get from the top.
They like since the ancient times, the most important present of Sabantuy was a hand-sewn towel. Girl who got married since the last Sabantuy. So it was the most important present, but it was given to the one who wins the horse race.
Horse
But
race.
there were a lot of towels collected like from all the women who got married since last Sabantuy, and they were given as presents for like all of these competitions. But the most important one was horse racing.
Yeah, horse racing is quite big. Like everyone watches that. It's quite exciting. When it comes to towels, so before Sabantuy takes place, there is a tradition to collect towels, or usually towels. People come to every house, usually on a horse, with a orban. So they sing, they sort of like do a little performance, and they come to every house and collect towels for the festival. Okay, so then they give the towels to the winners of the competitions. So in the village, they come to every house. And then there's Yumurka bilen Shabu, Yumurka, you know, Yumurka. And then there is this guy, whatever that competition is. Let's just move on.
It's finding
to grab whatever that is in Kotuk. Next one, güreş. So, güreş. As you can see, there is no yağ, no oil here involved in this competition. And I don't know if yours involves like lifting up people like that and throwing them over.
There is a similar wrestling in Turkey called aba güreşi.
Tamam. Aba güreşi?
It is like similar, but I think they a little bit different.
Tamam.
Chinese parts have this kuşak güreşi.
Kuşak.
Kuşak. The
Tamam.
belt, like,
And why do you think there is a sheep here?
is it like a lifting competition? I'm not
It's not actually. So the winner of Kuresh gets a sheep as a present. So that's the main present. So usually the sheep just waits there until the competition is over.
But Kazakhs have this.
Lifting. Sheep lifting or whatever.
I think it's squatting with the sheep.
Okay. We don't squat with a sheep. We don't.
Do Kazakhs have that?
Kazaklarda?
Kazakhlar-
Evet, Kazaklarda var diyor.
We have a Kazakh in this meeting. Maybe he
Öyle
can.
mi? Okay, let's move on. So you understand what this is. Next one. Also here, kapşık bilen yuguru, sikuru, kapşık bilen sikuru. Yeah, and then jumping with the sack. You have to come first. You're the winner if you come first. And then toyak tartışu. Tartışu, you know, pulling the stick. So have you seen a competition like that where you hold the stick and you sit like that and you have to lift the person up, so the strongest person sort of lifts the other person up and they win.
Recently found out that it comes from Sakha. Yeah, and they actually have like a real like sports competition, like Olympics in this.
Was it the same?
Yeah, it's the same.
Do you remember the name?
No.
Okay, so we call it toyak tartışu and Saha Türklerinde var yani bu. Tamam. The performances usually dances, songs, including this instrument, bayan or garmun. We used to have more instruments like dombra, but nowadays, I don't know, they lost their popularity apparently, and then everyone switched to garmun and bayan. I don't know if it was the Soviet influence, but yeah, dombra, kuray, we also play them, but not as much as bayan or like accordion, you know. And here, these two men are holding a giant bağırsak, I think. Bağırsak or shek, no, it's not shek, it's bağırsak, I'm pretty sure. So we also have bağırsak, which is a bit different from Kazakh bağırsak. It's sweet, you know, made with a syrup, kind of similar to shek, but softer and bigger. Next, Tatar dance. Would you like to see what Tatar dance looks like? Let's take a look at this video quickly. Also, there are these lessons on YouTube if you want to learn to dance like this.
5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Aylanib davom etamiz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, that's Tatar language. Tatar dili. Tatar dili. Most exciting part for me, since I'm a dil bilimci, a linguist. So first of all, I'd like to show you quickly what videos I make for the project called Ada Online. So I teach some Tatar phrases. You can find me on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram. So I make these videos with phrases and skits.
Salam, jamoat, Mixail. Biz sizning bilan shin tatar tilini o'rganamiz. Tushundimi? Eshitganingizcha, biz yishqina tatarcha so'zlarni qisqartib aytirga yaratamiz. Aytag'iz, men aligini aytib ketganlarimdan boshlaylik. Ha. Ya, balki o'zingizda anglagansizdir endi, bunisi hozir so'zining qisqa formasi. Söylemde big yosh kullanılan. Yaraydı, bu birimlerini kişiye kadar sözmüşe işlegindi. Ay. Ha, ötübüz.
So yeah, I teach words like that, like slang words as well. Would you like to learn a few phrases in Tatar? Just like simple ones. Salam is the same as in Salam. Pronunciation is a bit different maybe. Salam. Hallerin nishik. Nihal. Two options there. How are you? So nihal is more like what's up. So hal, you also have hal. Yeah. You understand that, right?
Yes, we have hal.
Yeah. So ni is ne hal. Yani nihal. And hallerin is the plural of hal. Hallerin nishik. Nishik is nasıl. Hallerin nasıl gibi. Hallerin nishik. Benim isimim, I guess you understand this without explanation. Benim isimim Bulat. Yaxşı. I think a lot of Turkish people know this word, yaxşı. So also I don't have to explain. Shep. Shep, you don't have that in Turkish, which is cool. Shep. İsen sağ, sağbol. So sağbol, a lot of Kıpçak languages have this also. Nogai, Bashkurt, Kazakh, all of them have this sağbol. So in Tatar, it's usually used to say bye, but a lot of other Turkic languages use it to say thank you. Rahmat, sağbol. We say rahmat, but sağbol for bye usually. Yani sağ ol gibi Türkçe'de sağ ol. İsen sağ, İsen is alive and sağ is, you know, a part of that phrase. İsen sağ is a short one.
We have esen in Turkish. It's similar.
İsen var mı sizde?
Var. Bu şekilde kullanılmıyor ama esenlikler gibi kullanılabiliyor yani.
I'll show you some of the regular correspondences, okay? So whenever you see it will be in Turkish. So it's just a spelling difference, okay? So we say her, you also say her, but you just spell it with an e, yeah? Also, there is the e correspondence. Whenever it's e in Tatar, it's e in Turkish. If I say sin, it's san in Turkish. Gel, kil, also the correspondence of k and g. So whenever we have k in Tatar, you have g in Turkish. Kil, gel, kurset, göster, yani böyle. D, whenever we have t, you have d. Well, it's not always like that. I mean, a lot of the words work like this, so there are correspondences like that. Timir, demir. So as you can see, e, like I mentioned here at the beginning, yeah, timir, demir. I mean, our spelling isn't perfect. We could have like an ortak Türk yazısı olursa bizde daha iyi olurdu. Yani temir olarak yazabiliriz bizde. Ama bugün biz böyle bir Latin alfabesini kullanırız. Bunun için böyle farklar var. Timir, demir. Oğa tabi ü, bizde ü bulganda sizde ü. So whenever you have ü, we have ü. Ümit, ümit. O. Bizde okur, sizde okur. Yani okur. It's the same basically. It's just the spelling difference in this case. Biriş. Böv. Another correspondence. Böv. Barmak. Bizde barmak, sizde varmak mesela. Bizde n var. Sizde n yok. Kullanılmaz. Ama belki bazen şivelerde vardır n. Azerbaycanca da var mesela. Ama
Aslında bizde de var.
evet, yani yazılmaz ama konuşulur değil mi?
Evet, nazal nun diyoruz. Osmanlıca zamanında kullanılıyordu.
Ha, tamam.
Şu anda da çıkartıyoruz ama alfabede yok.
Aha. Bizde yani çok kullanılır. N, son. Sizde son. Evet. Mon bizde var. Evet. Tan sizde tan. Mesela bizde tan. So these were like a few examples that I collected for you guys. If you want to know more, you can ask me questions later. I'd like to talk about music. I think this is the last one I have.
We talked that like if we compare to Bashkurt or we can just hear a conversation in Tatar or Tatar Bashkurt.
Benim Bashkurt kızı bilen video var. So I have a video with a Bashkurt person where we compare Tatar and Bashkurt actually. So it's the same series, you know, Easy Tatar series that I showed to you. I not only do this rubric, but also I compare with other Turkic languages.
So we can share the videos after the presentation. Shura wrote something and in the...
Sorry, I haven't read the chat. Let's see. Min Tatarca söyleşem kileşekni özgertem. Oh, nereden biliyorsun bunu? So this means min Tatarca söyleşem kileşekni özgertem. Do you understand? I
Ben
speak.
Hatay'da söylerim.
Ha?
Geleceği değiştiririm.
Evet, aynen. Geleceği değiştireceğim. I will change the future. Yeah? This phrase comes from a festival. Min Tatarca söyleşem. Ben Tatarca konuşuyorum. We have this festival, annual festival. Yeah, it promotes Tatar language and culture. You know, usually in Kazan, it takes place with a concert. Okay, Ida Konakup, she said there are a lot of guests at home, so she couldn't speak. It's fine. İkincisi yolu hiyləşirbіз. Мен sizni birinci tapqır Timur Yamalovның jырын шыда bulmagan şoqtaşılığında gördüm. YouTube'da videolarınız var iken oңuşlar. Rahmet, şura rahmet sana. So she's seen my videos on YouTube. She's seen me sing. So when it comes to music, just quickly to show you what we have. Yeah, some modern bands like Homage, Gauga, Taraf. Homage make synth pop music. If you like synth pop, and then there's Juna. They make more like folk music. And Gauga is rock band. Hani burada anlıyorsunuz kelimelerini değil mi? Min ol grapefruit, al mine al, aş mine. So. Ve bizim böyle bir videomuz var. Taraf.
ダラフっていうバンド聞いたことある？ほら、聞いてみて。
This is from our first album, which was an indie album. We're working on a new electronic album. So it's going to be more like electronic music. And these are usually released by Yummy Music, which is a Kazan-based Tatar indie label. Yeah, this is the label that released our first album.
I used to listen Taraf Band in Spotify, so I haven't watched any music videos. I didn't know that you are in this group.
Oh, you didn't know?
I didn't know.
You've listened to our music before.
Yeah, that's nice.
Tamam, teşekkürler. Evet, okay, so there are two bands or musicians that I'd like to mention also. They're more like big artists. Aygül, first of all, Aygül. They're really popular in Russia. They also make music in Russian, but they have a fully Tatar album. And I'm wearing their t-shirt right now, their merchandise. So it says in the Arabic script in Tatar, Min Yonga Ut. I'm the new fire. This is their music. So yeah, you can see Bosh Bash, you understand that. Yeah, if you like this kind of electronic music. Also there's Tatarca. Well, she doesn't speak Tatar, but Yummy Music actually helped them to write the lyrics in Tatar, and she is Tatar, half Tatar, I think.
Bulutlu bu dün, tarala urala tüdün.
So it's really stylish, and this was shot in Uzbekistan, as far as I know. And here is a bonus for you guys, the ones who stayed until the end. Here are some links to the playlist that I made with all of the songs and some music videos on YouTube. So you can take a photo of this or just access the presentation later and look for these. And yeah, it's a big collection of Tatar songs, modern songs, not like the pop songs. I haven't mentioned any Tatar pop songs in this presentation because I personally don't listen to them and I don't like that kind of music. But a lot of Tatar people in Tatarstan listen to more like pop music. More like, it sounds like Balkan music, to be honest. Like, you know, I don't listen to that kind of music, so I decided to only mention these ones, okay? But if you like that kind of music, you can also listen to that, to like Guzel Orazova. She is really popular. I don't know, Salawat. Okay, so here are the channels to learn Tatar. Learn Tatar, for those who want to learn Tatar through English. Oygul is the author of that channel. And so for those of you who don't speak Russian, because a lot of the other channels only teach Tatar through Russian. So you need to know Russian to learn Tatar. But Oygul has created this channel for those who want to learn Tatar without knowing Russian. So
On Telegram, it's both like language and culture. On Instagram, it's only the culture text.
ve Tatar Tili adlı böyle bir kanalda var. Tatar Tili. Orada biz we share lots of links there to different Tatar materials or content, just like Tatar content. Anything we find interesting, we share there. Rahmet, thanks, teşekkürler.
Biz teşekkür ederiz. Çok sağ olun.
Soruları olan varsa sorabilir şimdi ya da bitirebiliriz.
Actually, I can say that there are so many similarities. When you speak Tatar, I can understand something, but not completely.
Well,
But
yeah.
it's not so different. It's interesting for me. I thought that it is so far away from Turkey, and there are so many differences between Turkish and Tatar. But no, actually.
Yeah. And in general, Turkic languages are closer to each other than, for example, Slavic languages to each other, or Germanic languages. They're more different from each other than Turkic languages. So since we originate from Bulgar people, Bulgar Türkleri, we also have the Bulgar and Kıpçak components.
Also, there are so many similarities in dishes, traditional dishes, like Özbek pilav, Özbek rice, Uyghur rice, and Kazan Tatar rice.
In every presentation in this dil ve kültür konuşmaları, there is this dish, the pilav, and everyone says like it's Özbek, it's Uyghur, it's Kazak.
Evet.
Başka soruları olan var mı?
Gafotiges az önce tavuş bir almanım çünkü evde konak köp ine hem hazırda azan aytile tavuşum attır iştileme bilmeyiminde.
Hayır.
Menin soravım var. O minde Başkurtsa Tatarca mix ayta alam hazır. Kayki bir Türkler, Başkurtlar hem Tatarlar ular Başkurtçanı til olarak kurmaydılar. Til rövüşünde kurmaydılar. Ol Tatarcanın diyalekti dip oylaylar. Men sizin uyuğuz, menin üstün bek mühim. Siz çünkü bilimli, ilim turahında videolar düşürgen hem yaşlarda şu rövüşte yöneltken kişi heget. Şoğa sizin uyuğuz menin üstün bek mühim. Siz nisek oylayığız?
Rahmet, sana selam olsun şura. Tatarca cevap bilen bitin değil mi? Yeyse bugün yararım Tatarca cevap vereyim. Anlar belki anlatırız. Linguist olarak min elbette Boşkurt dilin hem Tatar dilin birbirinin diyalekt etip karar edim. Çünkü onlar şunun kadar okşaş ki, yani üzere Boşkurt hem Tatar kişisi birinde ağırlıksız söyleşe ala. Tercümeç gerek değil, tılmaş gerek mi? Hem ayırmalar baratik fonetik yoktan kubisin şey. Elbette var ayırmalar leksikada ama gramatik yoktan bilmem 99%'a okşaş. Менә шул төп ayırmalar leksik һәм fonetik ayırmalarda leksik яктан сүзләрне истә калдыра кирәк булса да, теге ятлара кирәк булса да, яңадан fonetik яктан бары тик менә белергә кирәк күчешләрне, менә бездә с булганда сездә х дип Bizde z bulganda sizde z dip. Yani ana iste kaldırı big jingel. Şuna göre min alarını türlü tiller dip karamas idim. Min aytmayım başkurt tili, tatar tilinin dialekti dip. Min aytam alar ikisi de bir tilinin dialekti, aytik bilmem. İdil tili dip, idil Türkiye tili dip alsak, ikisine bir isim birge bulur idi şunday mesela.
Anladım. Rahmet. Başkurtların, Türklerin ve Tatarların Başkurtçayı Tatarcanın bir diyalekti olarak, lehçesi olarak gördüğü görüşünü o nasıl düşünüyor diye sordum. O da evet çok benzer olduğu için diyalekt olarak görmemiz mümkün dedi. Yani dil bilimi açısından.
Nerede Başkurtça o kadar iyi öğrendin?
İnternet aşağı öğrendim.
Aferin.
Hı hı.
Tatarşan öğrenmedin değil mi? Şu Başkurtçan öğrendin.
Evet, Başkurtçanı öğrendim ama lakin min Tatarşa kitaplar okuyayım.
Ha,
Genel okuyayım ayı Gayas İshaki saytında okup bula PDF'ler var.
Teşekkür ederiz.
ben de
Çok teşekkür ederiz katılımınız için.
Rahmet, teşekkürler.